liked working in childcare, actually. It was very fulfilling. Honestly, it was really sad when I had to like not work. I quit because honestly, I couldn't put up with it anymore. So when I was working as like a babysitter, I actually really liked that, and I considered doing like live-in nanny work because honestly, it's kind of great. It's kind of nice because you get to really bond. Again, it feels like a second family, and then like you just get to do other. It's just a good time, honestly. But then when I worked in other childcare, I decided to go to, what is it called? It's like an early learning center. So you have kids all the way from 6 months to 5 years. And I hated it. Not because the job was bad, but because most of them, they'll hire someone on, yeah, it's like a daycare, but it's also like a preschool. So it's all in one. So like from even the 1-year-old rooms, you'll kind of like start like trying to teach them stuff, even if it's like really, really little things. And the kids would be here for pretty much most of the day. And all of the kids were there every single day of the week. So it would be from 5 a.m. is when the earliest kids would start being dropped off, but generally drop off time was 6. But so we'd have to be there really, really early. And then the kids would be there sometimes until the latest until 6. And most of these kids had a bedtime of 8 p.m. when they got home. So it was kind of actually really sad because it's like, wow, you literally go to bed, your parents wake up and drop you off here, and then they go to work, and then they come back and get you, put you to bed immediately upon getting, like, it's kind of sad because you spend more time with these kids than their parents do a lot of the time. And you also just see a lot of sad things. Like, you can tell when kids are like not really getting any attention at home, and it's just sad. Or like you can tell when like their parents like will like are like really mean to them for like things that are actually really regular for their age. But you can't really do much about it as long as there's no like actual like abuse happening. So one of the things was I was hired and they didn't know where to put me. So usually when they'd hire someone, they'd be like, okay, you are going to be exclusively in the 5-year-old room, or okay, you're going to be in the 6-month-old room. For whatever reason, instead of assigning me to a room, because originally I was going to be in the 2-year-old room because they had way too many 2-year-olds and even 1-year-olds coming up. They're like, we're going to need to start a second class. I think it was you needed 1 teacher per 5 kids. So they were going to separate off into a separate little room and give me 5 of the kids from the 2-year-old room so that there's not 25 2-year-olds in one room, because that's a lot to handle. It's chaotic. Let me tell you, it's chaos and a half. But for whatever reason, so keep in mind, I did not get trained on this job. I came in and I said, I have nannying experience. And they said, okay, good. And then they had me take like the mandatory certificates I needed to take, but they didn't actually train me. Like they didn't say, this is what's expected of you. They just put me in the room and then they said, okay. And then they'd like tell me like, this is what you need to do. Like you need to go heat up the food for like the kids who have hot food, and like start setting them out on the table. So, okay, it's nap time. So you need to help get the cots out. Okay. So I had a really good idea of what I was supposed to do. Then I found out some of the other girls didn't like me, and I was really confused. And I was like, wait, I'm really sorry. What did I do? They're like, you never plan any of the extra stuff for the kids. And I was like, I'm sorry. I wasn't aware that was something I was supposed to be doing. No one told me to do that. This is the first time hearing that was something that was even a part of my expectations. But also, we're not paid for time outside of work, and I was there for like sometimes more than 12 hours a day. So I was like, I don't know when you're expecting me to go and plan. Like, I feel like that's something that the school planners, because we have a board of directors. I'm like, why are they not planning things for it? I'm really confused because again, no one told me that I was supposed to be doing this. So I kind of got moved out from the 2-year-old room, because again, I also think this is gonna sound funny. All of the kids really, really liked me. All of the kids really, really liked me. They're like, Miss Nerissa. Every time I came in, so many of the kids would want to come give me a hug. It really pissed off the people in the room that I was with. Because people who work in childcare, not all, but some can become very interesting because you're there for so many hours. Like, these are kids that you spend so much time with. Like, they genuinely feel like they're your kids, you know? They genuinely feel like they're your kids. Anyway, the kids love me. That's the point. So I got reassigned and I got moved to the 4-year-old room. So I ended up going to the 4-year-old room. And that was great. And it was really fun, honestly. I really liked working with the kids because they're just so sweet. And you get to meet so many of them. Yeah, they had to nerf me because the 2-year-olds all liked me way too much. The 2-year-olds liked me like so much. Even though I was there all the time, I think I was a distraction because the kids all wanted my attention. I'm not trying to sound like I'm bragging, but yeah, I was effectively too popular. Yeah, the kids were getting too attached to me, and I don't think the parents appreciated it either. It would be to a point where the kids would come in and they would greet me first. They would come up to me and they would greet me first. The parents would see that, and I think they were like, So I imagine the kids were probably like, oh, I miss Miss Nerissa, you know? So it was very sweet. But so I got moved into the 4-year-old room, and I was there for a bit. And I never got like fully integrated though. And then they moved me to the 5-year-old room, and same thing. I was there for a while, but I never got integrated. And then they put me in the 6-month-old room, and I was like, I don't want to work in the 6-month-old room. I do not want to work with 6-month-olds. Like, that is not my goal. That is not my dream. That is not my aspiration. Yeah, literal babies. So the youngest you can be to enter into most of these is like, you have to be at least 6 months. And trust me, there were people who were trying to be like, can't you make an exception? You know, put my child in earlier. Because obviously, you know, let's be real. Most places aren't giving you leave for 6 months, even if you just had a baby, you know? But 6-month-olds are still really tough. And I'll be honest, even because in the 2-year-old room, they're still not potty trained yet. So you still have to like change diapers and stuff. But you're also potty training them. So like you're kind of helping, you're kind of doing a little bit of both, you know? But the 6-month, you know, they're 6-month-olds. They're literal babies. They can't take care of themselves. So it's just a lot of, you're feeding one will start crying. So you have to find a good time to stop feeding that baby. And then you have to pick up that baby, change their diaper, put them back down for a nap. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot. It was a lot. And then I got moved to the 1-year-old room, and it got to the point where they ended up being like, oh, I guess we're actually fine with the way things are, so they didn't actually need me. So they just had me like going around, and I'd be like a filler whenever anyone was like off or they needed someone else in a room. And I was like, this isn't what I was hired to do. You guys didn't properly train me. There's days when they don't need anyone, but I would still have to come in, and they would be like, oh, you can just clean the building. And I was like, what do you mean, clean the building? They'd be like, oh, you know, you can just like go and like, you know, there's like the chalkboards and like the bathrooms. You can go like clean those and like do this. I'm like, what? Huh? Or they're like, oh yeah, you can go like sweep the leaves out of the play area. And I'm like, I'm not hired to be a cleaner. Yeah, it was a really weird job, and I got very frustrated really fast. Because I was like, this isn't my job description. I was hired being told that I was going to be moved into my own room with the 2-year-olds. That was the intention. You've moved me around 50 times. All of the kids here are obsessed with me, but apparently you've all decided that I'm best as a floater. Maybe probably because a lot of the kids like me. I don't know. But the day that I was leaving, because I was like, I can't do this anymore, so I had to quit. They were not happy that I was quitting. They were not happy. They're like, you've only been here for like a year. You're really gonna quit already? And I was like, yeah, I am. Which again really sucked, because I actually did like feel like you feel a bit responsible in these sort of situations for like the kids and like their education. Like obviously they're not your kids, but in a way they feel like they are when you spend 12 hours a day with them and you find out so much about them. But I was like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. So I ended up being like, I need to leave. I need to get out of here. They gave me one last day for all of like my last days. I had one last day in each room so that all the kids could individually say goodbye to me. And I told the kids, I said, God, how do I tell them that I'm quitting? Because they won't understand. They're all really young. Like, well, Miss Nerissa's actually from the moon, so she's going to go back now. Miss Nerissa's from the moon, so she's going to go back, but she's going to miss you. I think the 5 and the 4-year-olds were a little bit like, but the little kids definitely believed me, and it was very funny. It was very funny. It was very cute. Yeah, it was awesome. That's my experience working in childcare. Why am I talking about this again? I must go now. My planet needs me. It's actually because at the time I was really obsessed with Sailor Moon. I was like, well, gotta go back. It was really difficult for me. I think I might have cried when I left a little bit. I mean, again, it's difficult because it's not like a regular school where there's like a good time to leave, because it's like a schooling plus daycare service, so it runs year round. So most of these kids, it's not like they have like a 2-month break, you know, where they like are home. It's like they're always there. So there's just not a good time to be like, okay, well, I'll see it through to the end of the year and then like I'll leave, you know. Again, it's up to 12 hours a day, and I saw them every day because I think on the weekends we were only open Saturday, and I think we did have Sunday off. It was a lot is all I'm trying to say. So yeah, that's my That's my experience working in childcare.